everyone, and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm your host, the Crypto Coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Dante and Sawyer from the SKALE team. We also have Micah from the FIO team. Guys, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate you having us. It's going to be fun.
All right, awesome. So before we jump in and find out more about what SKALE is, what you guys are doing, and also revealing a little bit about what we're doing together, I figured it'd be best to have you guys introduce yourselves. So let's start with you, Dante. Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your background, and what got you into this space?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is a little bit helter-skelter. I've worked in a variety of different early-stage startups, everything from B2B SaaS to real estate tokenization to med tech and CPG and sort of everything and anything in between that. I also have worked at a variety of different early-stage venture funds as well, investing sort of across the board in a variety of different verticals. In terms of what got me into this space, sort of what threw me down the rabbit hole, I was actually working at a B2B SaaS company in 2016, 2017, something like that. And I knew the founder very, very well, and he offered one day to pay me in Bitcoin. I thought he was trying to scam me. And I was like really, really disrespected by the notion that anyone would ever offer to pay me in Bitcoin. But like I said, I knew the founder, decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. So read the Bitcoin white paper, and the rest is history, right? I've been in the space for a while now. I came to the SKALE team probably 2 years ago just because it was very, very clear to me. I had a really, really high conviction that this was the best technology in the space, the best team in the space, and I have not been proven wrong.
Awesome, cool. Thanks, Dante. Sawyer, what about you, man? Tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into this space.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on as well. So a little bit about me. I started building software pretty young. Kind of just was that person that people came to and said, "Hey, can you build this?" And I always liked the challenge and just kind of rolled with it. And then I actually had my kind of intro to the space was when I started building. I started building a decentralized application. It actually was supposed to be a digital identity application, but unfortunately, just due to whether it's being too early, no product market fit, whatever it is, you know how it goes. Kind of fizzled out, but I was really fortunate when I kind of got to the tail end of that build. I came across SKALE, realized that that was what I needed to functionally make the technology happen, and just throughout my kind of build on SKALE as a developer, I realized that at the time SKALE was still pretty early. There wasn't really a ton of tooling. I was really kind of pushing the boundaries, and I found myself kind of over time building more and more tooling for the ecosystem to solve my own problems. And once that kind of closed up and was done, I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to continue working in the ecosystem, helping other developers build on SKALE, and getting to kind of reuse my knowledge and share my tools and my experiences with others. And I've been doing that for, I think, almost, if not over 2 years now. I don't know. I think I came in around the same time as Dante. But it's been pretty exciting, and it's one of my favorite things to do is help other people build and kind of educate people on what SKALE is and why it's so different and so powerful, and so on and so forth.
Nice, thanks, Sawyer. And no, Micah, you're on our team with FIO, but I don't think we've ever been on a podcast together. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your background, man.
Of course. Like Dante's, it's kind of spread out and all over the place. I started out early as an audio engineer, did some work on a video game, and then I realized I wanted to be a video game developer instead because it was a lot more cooler and a lot more fun. So I got in as a multiplayer balance tester for Foster Studio at Microsoft, and then became a level designer at Zombie Studios way back in the day, like 2007, 2008. And then kind of fell into pharmaceutical sales because it made a lot of money, and I had no experience whatsoever in sales or pharmaceuticals. But I met this crazy Russian dude one night, and he's like, "I think you'd be good at selling drugs." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I helped him build this company from the ground up. It was just me and him in this little 400-foot, business space, and 10 or 11 years later, it was a multi-million dollar company, and I made a name for myself in that space, selling to the U.S. government. And then COVID happened, and then everything just went poo-poo. No one was going to hospitals anymore for elective surgeries. And it kind of gave me an opportunity to break into a space that I've always really wanted to be in, which was crypto. During that time now, I was, bored, and I ran a video game tournament for a company called LandFest, the largest gaming organization in the country. All kind of nonprofit and volunteer based, but I built a really high tier competitive Valorant tournament for the competitive community, and kind of got my feet wet doing a little bit more business development for them as I was on their partnerships team and sponsorship team. So I was, got to be on calls with NVIDIA and Intel, and then that kind of got me introduced to Luke Stokes at FIO Protocol, who basically kind of brought me into the space. Been doing business development for FIO for the past 3 years now, going on 4 almost. So.
All right, awesome. So, all right, guys, let's dive into Scale. So let's say most of our listeners may not know what Scale is, what you got, what the purpose is behind Scale, and what benefits people will have from using the Scale ecosystem. So I don't know if Dante or Sawyer, you guys want to decide who wants to take this one, but who can give us basically a high level overview of what Scale is?
Happy to, and I'll try to keep it short and sweet. But we got a lot to say here, right? If I want to use all of the jargon of blockchain, I say that Scale is an EVM compatible scalability solution that's natively multi-chain or app specific. Truthfully, I hate describing Scale that way. I think it's a mouthful. I think that the best way to describe Scale is that we are a blockchain network that was designed for 2 things, which is user experience and scalability. Period. Right? Every single thing that happens on our network has 0 gas fees of any kind, instant finality, super low latency, and pretty much unlimited horizontal scalability. And these features are really, really cool, right? But what gets me excited, and what I know what gets Sawyer excited, is what builders can actually do with these features, right? We have a lot of really, really talented devs coming over to Scale and using it to build out a variety of different things, right? We have people in the gaming space who are using 0 gas fees and instant finality to build out gaming experiences that look and feel and interact exactly like a Web 2 application, but are still fundamentally on-chain, right? We call this creating an invisible blockchain experience, where your grandma, your friends, your family who have never touched blockchain before in their lives can still come on to your favorite game or your favorite marketplace or your favorite SocialFi platform and engage just as you and I or any other Web3 native person would. Because I think we all recognize the difficulties that many Web3 or Web2 users face trying to get into this space, which is, hey, I need to know I'm on a blockchain. I need to have a wallet. I need to fund that wallet by buying tokens. I need to connect it and pay transaction fees and whatnot. With Scale, you can build out experiences where you're logging in with your username and password, and again, because there are 0 gas fees, you're able to immediately start interacting with the blockchain. On the other side of the spectrum, we have builders who are building out, really, really innovative AI projects, everything from decentralized GPU networks to AI agents, in which millions and millions of AI agents are interacting on-chain with one another. Okay, at the end of the day, we are just infrastructure. All Scale is a blockchain infrastructure, and all we want to do is give the best builders the ability to go out there and build what they truly and genuinely believe to be best for their users without needing to sort of build around or conform to the standard limitations of a blockchain, whether that be from a user experience perspective or a compute perspective or an economic perspective. And as a result of this superior user experience and performance and scalability, we've really seen the network take off in the last few years, right? Just to throw some hard numbers at you, we have more than 35 million wallets on the network. We're doing more than 50 million transactions every single month. We're a top 5 chain in the world for both unique active wallets and daily qualified transactions. And we're continuing to grow, right? We're continuing to onboard brilliant builders. We're continuing to onboard users, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that the reason for that is just the fact that you can build fundamentally better user experiences, fundamentally more performance applications on a network like Scale's than you can anywhere else in the world, period. So that's kind of the high-level overview. I hope I did a good enough job on that one for you guys.
Very, very good. And it's refreshing to hear, because most people you talk to that have their own chains or ecosystems, they're not talking at all about the user experience. They're all talking about this great tech that they're building that can do this and do that, And we all know at the end of the day that doesn't really mean anything unless you get users. If you can't get users, it doesn't really matter. So awesome. So Sawyer, anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, Dante always does such a great job of sharing what scales at the high level, but I think he also did a great job here of kind of starting to explain what we're so excited about, right? At the end of the day, the network itself, everyone's got great tech, right? Like everyone's innovating in this space. Obviously, everyone's maybe doing it in different ways. Maybe some things are better than others, but at the end of the day, it's primarily opinion and who's got the results. And the incredible part about what Scale is offering today is that we can have an application who is building from scratch for the first time. They can be coming from another network, and they can pick and choose, right, how they want their experience to be. You have the opportunity to build a game, a dApp, a protocol on Scale that is 100% abstracted, right? There's zero knowledge that there's Web3 or blockchain in there. It's seamless, easy. You get to use it because you want to use the protocol or the application or play the game, right? You're not using it to get a token or to unlock some airdrop or this or that. You're using it because you want to use and experience it, right? Which is what we're used to in everyday life, right? You don't play games on your phone to earn tokens in most cases. You play them because you want to kill 5 minutes and ads pop up everywhere you go. At the same time, because under the hood we do have everything that Ethereum can do and more, we still do see very incredible and innovative Web3 applications, right? People that do want to focus on bringing maybe better self-custody, better self-ownership, allowing people to own their own information or actions. And that is, I think, one of the coolest parts about Scale, right? No gas fees, incredible scalability, and all the other bells and whistles enable us to have these things running side by side, and users don't have to know the difference.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I've always said that we've got to hide. I've said as well, we've got to hide that anything that's crypto or Web3 to where the user just thinks they're having a great experience. And like you said, game developers need to build great games and not worry about how the user is going to connect, add a wallet, write down a seed phrase, and all those different complexities that come with Web3. I always look at the internet adoption, right? You look at the adoption cycle of the internet. It was around for years, and the only time it really started to see mass user adoption was when we started abstracting those complexities and hiding them. Right today, I guarantee you, probably 90% of the people you talk to don't even know when they type in a website address, it takes them to an IP. Like they just think, oh, it just magically takes me where I need to go, not realizing that technology is still there that's needed to resolve to that IP address and then take them there. They don't really care about that as long as they get the experience they're looking for.
Yeah, 100%. The analogy that we like to use is, when you're using Uber, you have no idea if Uber is using AWS or Azure or Tencent Cloud or whatever it might be. Like, blockchain at the end of the day is an infrastructure, and it's an incredibly powerful infrastructure. And many people are able to use that infrastructure to, have a self-sovereign identity and self-sovereign tokens and whatever it might be, which is fantastic. But if you are really serious about unlocking the power of blockchain, you need to make sure that the user experience is something that your grandma can use and your friends and your family who have never touched a blockchain before in their lives can use, because otherwise you're segmenting yourself into such a small fraction of the market.
No, absolutely. I think either Dante or Sawyer, next time I give the same talk that I gave in Belgrade, I'm going to have to ask you guys to probably join me, or one of you guys, because the title was about enhancing user experience for mass onboarding, right? And it was all focused, and I gave a challenge to the industry on what we're solving at FIO and what we need other people to solve. And when I think about I think it was like an 8-point list I had, to where 3 of those points are things that we're focusing on at FIO. And when I think about that plus the rest of the list that I was challenging other people to build, I think if we went down that list, you guys would probably check all those boxes as well.
That's why we're partnering, man. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So at this point, great segue. Micah, why don't you tell us a little bit? We're going to talk about the FIO wallet for a second, because I don't think we've had a chance to feature that on the episode either, and that'll lead into us talking about the partnership. So Micah, can you explain to us what the FIO wallet is?
Yeah, sure. My my entry into this space has kind of taken me down this path of, wanting to find solutions to problems that I come up with, right? And in partnerships, when people wanted to partner with FIO, especially games, to have that kind of gamer at game address, right? Like gamer at Call of Duty or something like that. There was always friction with the wallet. Well, what wallet do we use? How do they manage their private keys, et cetera, et cetera. So I found a company called MetaKeep, who is also partnered with Scale now, to help us create their FIO wallet. It was that DID that was instantly communicated within that wallet via a cloud-based wallet. And the integration is so slick and so nice because it's essentially a hardware wallet on servers, where the user does not have to manage a private key or know a seed phrase or any of that. They just log in with an email, yet it's completely non-custodial. And the way that is non-custodial is how the keys are managed on the silicone chips itself. So it's pretty slick how they did it over there at MetaKeep, and it took us about a year and a half to really solidify that partnership. But MetaKeep integrated our technology, and then as we were talking to different solutions, I found Scale, and what the FIO wallet and with Scale has really become is just that exact representation of what they were talking about earlier, right? Like seamless, frictionless experience for developers. So with FIO and then the FIO wallet by MetaKeep, the Scale and the FIO wallet by MetaKeep, you get all these things that a developer can basically integrate with zero developer footprint. But for that user, it is a Web 2 seamless experience like they're already used to. They just sign up with an email and that's it. But they get the DID, which Sawyer was, super stoked on earlier in his career. With the blockchain agnostic user at domain, with the seamless MetaKeep wallet, that's the best security in the industry. Hardware wallets on a zero gas fee blockchain like Scale. So to me, it just seems like it's the perfect trifecta, for this solution in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about that experience, Dante, when you guys were first approached, and Sawyer, maybe you guys maybe let me know which one of you guys want to chime in on this, because this was a conversation we've had for a while, and kind of our history was we actually had games coming to us first saying they wanted to use our protocol, but then you had game developers trying to figure out how to build a wallet, or either build their own wallet, or they were going to have to use MetaMask plugin, and we all know that that's not really a good user experience to onboard new people, where they either have to connect the wallet or create a new MetaMask wallet and have to write down that seed phrase somewhere. So that was the barrier, and that's how we came across with MetaKeep. But when you guys were first approached with this, what were your thoughts on it as far as how that could enhance the user experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I can take this one. I think the big thing, right, is Scale itself is a decentralized network, right? So this is a collection of validators, developers, all these different entities and stakeholders who in some way, shape, or form are a part of this network, right? And the big thing is everybody is agreeing on one thing, and that is there is a problem that Scale is solving, right? That's why we're all still here and we're all still building and trying to make it grow and find success, right? And one of the things that is key to us when we're helping people come and build on the network is giving them good partners, right? Giving them good partners and good tools that just work. Because I'm going to give a really, really small story because it'll make a lot more sense when I finish this statement. A few months ago, we had a new cross-chain partner integrate with us. It's not FIO. And I was trying to do a test on a bunch of other chains. And I was trying to get testnet gas tokens. And every time I try to go get testnet gas tokens, it asked me to put in my Twitter, or it asked me to hold some amount of ETH on mainnet just to test. Like I was literally being paywalled and blocked from testing. And it just drove me off the wall because as the individual that has helped create a large amount of the S-Fuel pipeline, I've made it so that testing is easier than ever on testnet, right? Anybody can do it for free. There's no barriers, no walls. I want everybody to be able to just do it. when we started talking with FIO and with MetaKeep, that was a huge piece of why I was so excited, because we're not going to kid ourselves. There's a ton of custodial MPC-based solutions that are API-based, right? It's becoming more and more popular because people are understanding the user experience benefits. However, one of the obviously really interesting pieces about you guys is this whole non-custodial backing, right? The usage of real hardware wallets to actually back the user accounts. That's very cool. But additionally, is the fact that everything worked, right? Like I actually had a project who's going through their process to mainnet right now, and they're actually using MetaKeep, right, which is the same project, same partner that FIO is using under the hood. They're actually using them, and they dropped it in. They said, "Oh, you guys have support for that?" I said, "Yep." They dropped it in a couple of hours, and it was just great to see it. It just worked, right? And those two words, I know I've been rambling here. I'll slow it down a little bit, but those two words are super important to Dante, to myself, and to the entire ecosystem, because we recognize the fact that when someone goes and builds software outside of our Web3 bubble, they expect it to just work. You go pick up a SQL database, you pick up this server, you pick up whatever it is, you expect it to work. And we believe that to find that mass adoption and to really make this happen, that's how our entire ecosystem has to be. And so that was one of the most exciting things to me when we started having the conversations with FIO, with MetaKeep, figuring out how to make this happen. Is we now have a solution where you guys can bring games that want to build with FIO. They can come and build on Scale, and Scale just works. We have games that want to build on Scale and they need a wallet. We know that FIO just works, right? And it's just it's a super great situation. Sorry, that's terrible grammar. It's a great situation to be in for everybody, because everybody that wants to come and build on the network now gets the benefit from the fact that everything just works.
Yeah, that's good insight, because when I think about how I've described this in the past, and maybe because I'm not looking at it from that developer mindset, it's usually always about the user experience, right? But you're also it's a two-sided win, because it's creating a better experience for that developer that wants to come in and just build stuff that works. Because you're right, I mean, things in a centralized system can always work seamlessly, right? But that's not always best for the user. It's not always best for like growing an ecosystem, and that's why having solutions like this that are just going to work, whether they're utilizing everything under Scale's hood or they're tying into Scale, like you mentioned, and other stuff. So it's definitely something that, from what you just said, that's going to even alter the way I talk about it too, because I always talk about the user experience, but I think it's important that we also have that conversation about the experience for that developer that builds it. It just wants to build a great product and not have to worry about the complexities of trying to link everything together, trying to tie it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. If the developer experience is good, in majority of cases I've seen, the user experience follows, because instead of developers having to fight their own code to get the experience they want, it means you're probably working with a much more streamlined process. And so it's exactly like you said, it's that dual benefit where you can give it to a developer, the developer now has much less to actually do to get to the end result they want. And that end result is something that everybody here is aligned on, which is having the best user experience. So yeah.
Awesome. So Dante, I mean, you're at events. I see you talking to a lot of people about Scale and what you guys are building. What's the biggest thing that excites you about maybe coming up with Scale that you can talk about? I know we all work in ecosystems where we don't want to release stuff too early, but is there anything that any kind of nugget you could share, or any kind of insight into what's coming with what you guys?
Yeah, 100%. Real quick, Wayne, when is this coming out?
This will be probably first week of July.
Okay, awesome, cool. So, time to drop some bombshells. Yeah, lots of really, really amazing stuff happening in Scale, right? Traditionally, we have taken a little bit more of an opposite approach to most ecosystems in terms of how we grow, right? A lot of chains that you see coming out right now, they launch and they try to get as much liquidity as they possibly can so that they can, bring on a bunch of DeFi users and try to sort of grow outwards from there. We've taken a fundamentally different approach, where we have tried first and foremost to prove that this technology is viable and onboard high quality builders who are going to use this technology to onboard actual users. Okay, so like I told you, we have a ton of users right now. What we're going to do in the next few weeks or so is sort of launch a really, really big DeFi campaign that is sort of centered around gaming and this consumer-focused entertainment. So one piece of news that's super, super exciting for us is that the former CMO of Arbitrum, who's also ex-Amazon, Andrew Saunders, just joined our team. We're very, very excited to have his expertise. Just, in spending a lot of time with him, he is really, really, really good at what he does. And in terms of this sort of DeFi push, when you have the technology that Scale offers and the features that Scale offers when it comes to zero gas fees and instant finality, it makes everything within DeFi exponentially more efficient. And when I say that we're sort of focusing on building out this DeFi ecosystem through the lens of gaming, what I mean is that we have a lot of really, really amazing games that are about to come out and launch their tokens on Scale, that are about to bridge liquidity over, et cetera, which means now you can go and trade those tokens without needing to pay any gas fees, ever. And one of the key partners in making this happen is actually SushiSwap. So SushiSwap will just have launched at the time that this podcast goes live, and they are working really, really closely with us to sort of spearhead this DeFi campaign. We have a number of really, really amazing DeFi applications that are coming aboard, and this is something that we've been planning for a while and are really, really looking forward to. So we're putting in, a lot of resources when it comes to time and dollars and everything like that into making sure that this is successful. And I have no doubt that this is really, really, really going to alter the way that people view Scale in a variety of different ways. So that's really, really exciting. We have a lot of really amazing dApps that are launching on Scale as well. Haven's Compass is about to do their TG and about to launch on Scale. They are one of my favorite games. We have AI companies like Skillful AI also doing their TG and about to launch on Scale. This is going to be really, really amazing. And also tooling platforms, right? FIO's coming aboard. We have some really cool, SDK solutions like Eidolon and things like that are coming out. So it's going to be a really, really fun time in the Scale ecosystem. Lots of focus around DeFi, lots of really incredible projects that are building, lots of really incredible partners that we're announcing. I'm very, very excited to see what this is all going to look like, because I think that if we recorded this podcast, 2-3 months later, it would be a very, very, very different conversation. Now, for full intents and purposes, nothing that I say is investment advice. This is, not something that that you should take out of context by any means. I'm not trying to speak on price. I'm not trying to do any type of investment, but this is something that I personally am very, very excited about.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing kind of started out as like a gaming partnership, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, there's utility across the whole spectrum. We are essentially a developer tool at the end of the day, for DeFi, for blockchain gaming, for enterprise level stuff. And I think that's what excites me the most about us working together, is that we're providing technology in this space that is just underlying. Right. I mean, we've FIO protocols gone back and forth from being, doing B2C to B2B, and what excites me the most is being able to have solutions to really complicated problems that at the end of the day are under the hood, work seamlessly, and it's just really exciting to see solutions like ours be able to work together, find common ground, and really kind of bolster each other's strengths in the space.
Yeah, what excites me? I mean, Micah's more into like gaming, and so anything on the gaming side has been exciting him more. I mean, I'm into gaming, but not as much as Micah. But I have been a geek for the last few years about DeFi and just participating in different DeFi protocols outside of just swaps. Because let's face it, before we had decentralized finance, did you or anybody really get much chance to participate in providing liquidity? Earning, from that liquidity. So that was something that always intrigued me. So it's exciting to see the option to where I may be able to do some DeFi moves without having to pay more in gas fees than what I'm trying to provide for liquidity sometimes with other change. I can think back to those early days of Uniswap when, it was $125 just to do one transaction, and that was just to provide liquidity, not even to not even to when I was removing that liquidity as well.
Oh, I know. And again, like beyond the user experience thing, any type of gas fees ever are a nuisance. So, in my opinion, especially with DeFi, when people are frantically on the hunt for efficiency and, profit anywhere that they can, having zero gas fees is going to be a game changer. And even like we talked about for devs, like we have people that are experimenting with a variety of different DeFi things on Scale and leveraging our zero gas fees to do things that you could not do on any other network, whether that be, your standard just regular old trading or like quant trading, high frequency trading, things that again would not be possible on any other network besides Scale.
Awesome. And we were actually on a call the other day, and I can say this because our it was actually a call that was recorded and made public for anybody. But Micah had actually come up with a use case for the FIO protocol through DeFi to stop people from accidentally buying the wrong buying from the wrong token contract. Or you go to DeFi and you can either, you go to like a swap protocol and you can either type in the token name or you can search by contract address. Well, so many people either get to the wrong place, end up with a wrong contract address, or they type in a name and 20 options pull up and only one of them is the legit one. And having that user be able to type in the handle that token team or the swap the DEX team created to represent the actual right token, and when they type in, say it's like this is not really one, but say it's like scale at SushiSwap, it'll actually resolve to the right contract address so they get the right token.
Or like Wolf at Solana, Bread at Base, right? There's so many imitations of those, or any kind of token that's launched ever. If there's any kind of delay, people say, well, what's the CA? What's the CA? And then you'll get like 10 DMs with all fake contract addresses. This one can be mapped to be like, hey, just it's Wolf at Solana. Boom, click on that. That's the CA, and it's only going to be one that's mapped to that address. So, just constant use cases are popping up for us over here, and that's what makes me super excited about this space.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can tell by Micah's responses that he's been degening in some meme coins lately. So,
for better or worse.
Yeah. I think he's had a little bit of FOMO and a little bit of regret, right, from selling too early.
Yep, that's how it is.
You and me both, Micah. I feel your pain, my friend.
Yep. All right, guys. So it's definitely been a pleasure. As we start to wrap up, can one of you guys share where people can find out more about Scale and be able to follow and reach you guys?
Yeah, happy to. So scale.space is our website. Highly recommend that you go there. There's a big old button on the front page that says bridge. Come try out the network. That's always, always, always the best way to learn. You can also find us on Twitter at Scale Network. That's SKALE, not SCALE, SKALE Network. And come join our Discord. Come talk to our devs. Come talk to our team. We are always, always, always more than happy to support builders and what they're doing. So if you're building something cool that you think would be a good fit for Scale, you can find me on Twitter at Dante Reminick, or you can come and DM Scale. We're more than happy to support you in whatever you might be building.
All right, cool. All right. Any other last thoughts from you guys, Dante, Sawyer?
I think I spoke my piece.
Absolutely. Anything else, Sawyer?
No, just great to be here. Really looking forward to seeing not just the existing Scale dApps and builders coming to use FIO, but also really excited to see. Sounds like you guys have a ton of great stuff in the pipeline as well, and I'm excited to start to see who wants to come and build on Scale, right? How this kind of resonates with them, and see how we can really see the result that we believe can happen come to fruition. So, but yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, and I'll say one last thing. To any developers out there who are listening, the major benefit here, I think, is that if you are a Web 2 game, or if you're a Web 2 dApp, or not dApp, but if you're a Web 2 application and you want to flirt with Web 3, right? You don't want to have to commit a bunch of resources. This is our solution for you to come and be able to do that. It's basically a SaaS fee on all three products. You just come in, drop a little bit of cash, and you're on board in Web 3 within minutes. That is the real benefit I see here in this space. We allow people to come into this space with no skin in the game, try it out, And if you don't like it, it's just one API call in, one API call out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the future is we're not going to say this is a Web 2 game, this is a Web 3 game, this is a Web 2 application, this is a Web 3. I mean, most of the mainstream world, they're not calling everything Web 2 anyway, right? And so when you look at this, I constantly go back to that internet adoption phase. Remember where there used to be companies that were online only and they were internet companies? Now every company is online, so nobody's an internet company. Everybody just uses the internet. And that's where we've got to get to, where it's not saying you have to decide whether you want to be a Web 2 company or Web 3 company, Web 2 game or Web 3 game. You just have to decide the benefits that you get from adding this Web 3 technology. Is that going to enhance your user experience? Is that going to enhance your developer experience? Is that going to enhance your collaboration with other teams and other projects? And if it is, then you want to integrate those elements. Not saying you're a Web 2 or Web 3 company. You're just a company that's being an early adopter of Web 3 technology. So definitely great insight, guys. It's been a pleasure having you guys on. And anything else from anybody before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think we're good. I appreciate you inviting us. I'm happy to come back on whenever.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.